All right, in this clip from the Land Podcast with Shane Albert, he's talking about the importance of finding a mentor to help you in your real estate endeavors so you can learn faster. Hope you guys enjoyed this clip. Here we go. So when did you decide you wanted to buy a piece of ground? I mean,
just like everybody probably listening to this, I always want to buy a piece of ground. That was always on my radar. In my family, I've got an uncle who has done very well for himself. Started a business when he was young. Just did a lot of really smart things financially. And buying ground was one of his. He did it smart financially, but he also loved deer hunting and land management, turkey hunting, and the whole thing. So I watched him do it from a distance, but I never really thought it was a realistic opportunity for me whenever I was, like I said, a welder in the weld shop, a low man on the totem pole for a while. It never seemed like it was a real possibility. So I would dream about it, but I never really thought it was a possibility. As I kind of grew older and I realized, your mindset is everything. And once I started putting the actual possibility of me buying a piece of ground in the forefront of my mind, at this point, I had bought a couple rentals. My idea was to kind of build the rental portfolio to a certain point. And I'm not quite there yet where I want to be with that rental portfolio, but I want to get that to a certain point to where that's it's kind of streamlining down payments for property and everything. So once I started getting a handful of rentals and I started seeing, how things, you play it out on paper, but then you got to actually do it and see how it plays out in real life. Whenever you've got repairs to do and you got late rent checks and things like that, you gotta see how that plays out. But once that started to, I kind of established myself, I really started realizing like this is actually probably more doable than I ever really thought. I guess after I bought the 9th property, we really started realizing that this can happen faster than you think with the right mindset and the right action. And I had listened to the Land Podcast for probably about a year at the time, maybe a little less than a year, and it was about that time I don't know, I just got to a certain point where I'm like, I suffered from analysis paralysis pretty hard for a while. And I finally just said, man, I need to do something. I need to pull the trigger, even if it's just walk a piece of ground, if it's talk to a realtor, who knows ground. Obviously I talked to realtors buying the rental properties, but talking to a realtor who specialized in ground or knew why I would be looking for a piece of ground. And that's literally when I was just like, hey, I follow Jake Hofer on Instagram. I'm sending him a message.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's so cool because I'm really appreciative of everyone that reaches out, and there's a lot of people that were in the exact same position as you. And I think, to your point, getting started is often the hardest part. And to your point, maybe just going to look at a piece of ground is a great place to start, just to kind of go through the motions. But as you built out that portfolio and you realized, okay, well, maybe we can figure something out to get a piece of recreational ground. Did you have a checklist of what you wanted? What was kind of your short list of, okay, I want something that I can obviously hunt on, and I want something that's also a sound financial investment?
The first thing is my wife doesn't hunt, so she understands how much I love hunting. But if I was going to buy a piece of ground, it had to make sense financially first in order to just check, get past that checklist. So, and obviously, in my mind, you got to look at it the way that a lot of people have done it before me. So, like I mentioned, my uncle, some of the people that you've had on Land podcast. I mean, you look at Bill Winkie, Skip Sly, some of those guys, and very rarely did anybody just wake up and buy 500 acres, right? Most of the people that I'm kind of looking up to, or I'm looking, I'm kind of using as mentorship, even if it's from afar, they did it with stepping stones. And so, yeah, whenever I'd first start looking, yeah, of course I looked at 500-acre tracts that, were turnkey ready to go. But I was looking at that as what do I got to do to get to that point, right? So that price tag is not, feasible right now. But so what can we do? So I would just limit the searches basically, between 15 and 50 acres. I would look at them, with how much, tillable, was there any tillable income, CRP opportunity, timber value, or is it access, limit, it might be, a ton of trees on it that are good and marketable, but there's no way to get them off of there. Well, those trees are, they're worthless at that point. And we ran into some of those that we looked at, but it's really just looking at pieces of ground. I kind of mentioned it earlier. You can do a lot of homework on a computer screen and a couple conversations with people who know what they're talking about. And that can actually get you farther than a lot of stuff. It can get you really prepared up front to have those conversations. Then when it comes time to walk a piece of ground, you've got that checklist already narrowed down. You're not going through and learning everything as you're walking a piece of ground. If that makes sense.
Yeah, but I think everyone kind of has an idea, at least what they think they want, and from where that is on day one when they go look to where they end up buying, often probably something different, but at least you're able to go through that progression naturally and figure out, well, I didn't think this was that important, but then you go walk some farms. Okay, well, this is actually pretty important. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. My name is Jake Hofer, and I'm a real estate agent out of the state of Illinois, and it's my goal to help 100 people buy their first farm. Been doing that with the Land Podcast and clips like this every single Thursday and Saturday that are released here on the channel. And to be one of those 100 people, all you have to do is, if you're in the state of Illinois and I can help you, I'd be happy to do so. Number two, if you want to get connected with someone that can help you, reach out and I'll be happy to get you in contact with an agent that I would personally do business with. And the last one is, if you just simply learn something from the content we're putting out, or you get inspired to take action, I want to know, get you out of that spreadsheet. I'm on a mission to help 100 people. Until next time, see ya.